God, please tell me what I can do to fix the way that this garden grew. You know, believe me, this kind of stuff is kooky and it would feel weird for anybody to really have it in their life at all times. Like this morning I woke up a little out of normal, actually laid down and went to sleep because we took my old truck back, the Dan Alexander bread truck, we took Izzy back and dropped it off. And then when we were riding back, I was riding back with my parents. So my parents, they were playing they were playing it mixed between country music and modern pop songs. And I can't deal with hearing that kind of garbage. It's all sad. It's all either super sad, I need your love. It's going out to drink, summer and suntan and all this kind of stuff with my baby and my beer can. It's like these are like a bunch of little kids in 40 and 50-year-old bodies now. They're a bunch of little kids, and they don't want to hear that because it's true. And nobody wants to face the problems that they don't want to face because their families grew up that way. Well, you see where this getting into drinking and getting into smoking and all that kind of stuff, where it comes into play, just like the sin we have with food. We don't need to nearly eat as much food as we do. And even if you have healthy food, you don't need to sit and overeat. That's the point. You only eat healthy food, and then you don't even overeat healthy food. So when you get into smoking and drinking, you grow your own. You make your own. You don't have somebody else slave their time away to do something for money so that you can have something. Yeah, maybe we've done that before, but as you can see, people aren't cooperating so smoothly as people think they are because of the controllers and the dictators overhead. Now we have to remove the dictators overhead, start working with each other together. Yeah, you can keep your breweries and all that kind of stuff. But in most people who do that, love the land, they grow it, they regrow it, they keep it growing, they talk to it, they enjoy it. And even if they don't talk to it, it knows they enjoy it, so it keeps coming. Plants keep coming when you know they keep coming because the power that is in us is operating them. So if we think that we plant seeds and they grow, they will always grow when we plant seeds until we start worrying about, oh no, these factors are making us think the land is drying up and seeds won't grow. If you start thinking that, they won't. That's actually true. That happens. But people don't understand that if they just stopped worrying about applying themselves to a governmental forewritten manual to follow along with life, or anybody's for that matter, not just governmental. I don't have nothing against with that, the people in it, like I said. It's just that the whole group itself makes no sense being there. It has no reason to try to authorize anybody over anyone else. It's just silly for anyone to cooperate with that. Now, when it comes to the smoking and the drinking, sure, why not? But if you're not searching for something within yourself and you're just letting loose and having a good time and that's all you do. Most people, they work, which is not what they want to do, and then they let loose, which is all they want to do. And they never have that in between. That's what's called balance. You can have fun. You can work yourself towards whatever goal you want. But you don't overdo one side or the other. And most people either only do one, only do other, or don't do either and don't care. I mean, that's a way to say it. I mean, there's many more accurate ways to say it, but I'm not too worried right now because I woke up after a day where I sort of felt a little disconnected, but of course I'm not. And I'm like, I looked around and I spoke out to the world and everything, and that super shining glow wasn't there because we also went to eat at a restaurant and I decided I'll get some French fries. So I got some French fries and it actually changed me a little. Plus I listened to the vibrational soundtrack of sadness riding back with country music. So I closed my eyes and sort of meditated and tried to block out the sound. So when we got back here, I just was in that kind of weird mood where I felt ungrateful to my parents for driving 10 hours with me because I didn't really say anything with them because they had music on that was really, really bothering me. And I knew that if I would say, Dad, can you turn that music off? He'd be like, it's my car. And that's just how my dad is. And he goes from the nicest, happiest guy sometimes to like just getting angry. And it's just because he doesn't want to be not challenged, but he doesn't want to be told that what he's listening to or what he's doing or what he's watching or what he's thinking about is bad for him, because he's an adult and he doesn't need anyone to tell him. And that's what everybody has. Everyone has that, I'm an adult and you can't tell me. Well, sure, I can't. I should. And I'm trying, because I'm only trying to tell you the answers to your life problems, not the answers to our societal problems. In fact, the answers to our societal problems I've already given. Nobody's listening. I'm doing it. And I don't care if anyone, like I said, if people come kill me because I say, hey, I love the world too much to be spending my time supporting a system that actually tears the world apart, and I would rather have you kill me because I'm doing the right thing for our world, and you would kill me because I'm trying to stick up for the world that you're trying to destroy. And that would be the point that Dan Alexander would have made. It might come soon, it might come later, I don't know. But the point that God's trying to make through Dan Alexander is that we can completely change this whole thing around. It's quite obvious. Quite obvious. And when certain things don't happen, little things like, all the words in every word, every letter, every number has been designed for me to awaken. Now, this may sound funny because if you use different languages than I do, then the shapes of the vowels and the letters and all that kind of stuff is the same as you see them. So they're directions. And if you look at the directions, you could say something as simple as, all throughout my life, everything that I've watched was designed for me to see. Everyone else could have, but it would have led them to me for the names and the numbers and the letters. Let's just say the whole Simpsons. Simpletons. That's basically what it means, this simpleton song. Let's say Candace Cameron. Candace is just like Carrie, like James Carey, C-A-R-R. It's not just Ann, or like an N, because an N just crowns it downward. R-R is reoccurring. So why does Jim Carrey carry on like all the other characters? Because James is a junction, or coming from the I, an identity as manifest, expressed of source or subject, which is people who are actors. But then their middle names, their last names, and how awakened they become starts to come into play with all of those factors. Let's just say Candace Cameron. Over to back that again. It's not Carrie Cameron, and Carrie's a popular girl name, but Candace. So it's like Candid, and then camera on. Okay? And then her brother, Kirk Camera on, or Cameron, is kinetic identity reoccurring kinetically. And that's what he was. He was an actor named Kirk Cameron. And he went from when I was young watching Growing Pains, when I was in that stage of my life, doing exactly that. That's when those shows were on. And after that, he went to being religious when I didn't. And I was like, I don't want to go watching that kind of stuff. That stuff's silly. Because he got sucked in as a human being doing that religion stuff. But in his own way, he found his salvation and whatever he wants to feel, because the words won't appeal to him. Because he won't understand that the word divine is Dan expressed. And certain words just don't make sense to other people, because I could show you where they sort of aim to other people, but those other people are showing you in human life, they're sucked up by the scenarios that everyone else is playing into. If you're doing super violent acts, singing horrible lyrics, popping your coochie, you're not following the divine nature's law. Nature's law is, you can do anything in nature, but when you get to the divine nature of non-being and non-time, there is a rule. The nature's rule is to treat things with respect. Put your intentions into them. Make your intentions known. Like if you want to plant something, you talk to it. You let it know what it wants to be. You let that know inside your own mind what you want it to be. And you let it be that. And you stop letting other people say, oh, the weather's getting bad, it's going to mess that up. Oh, this is happening and this ain't going to happen today. Oh, this can't happen because these things are going on. And if you don't let people get into your brain and reprogram you momentarily all the time, every thought is another program adjustment. But if you can actually stay on top of how you're thinking, you will see that this is accurate. So accurate that nobody's ever seen it because I'm the only one who was given that. And when I say I'm, it's like I, Dan, have God. And if I didn't, then I would want somebody to come with me and tell me why all the things that I could point out to him are completely accurate. And then if I sat and I told him about all the past lives I remember, it would be too much. They'd be like, wow, that's crazy, that's wild. And there's no reason to go to that point. Like, none of that stuff means anything to anybody because no one else seems to really believe in it. Even the ones who have videos about it and people that talk about astral projecting and all this kind of stuff, I send them messages and they don't seem to even understand what the hell I'm talking about. And I'm like, I can explain anything you need to you if you just open your heart and listen to somebody who you think might just be a guy. But he's not just a guy. He's God just as well as you are, but he's opened himself up to the point where now divine energy that has no time or space is now living in time and space and can help anyone here. We have to have a world where instead of people that are like all the kids that are into Marvel comics and Marvel movies right now, they aren't thinking, do you think those superheroes are trying to save a world that they themselves are destroying? Well, right now, I bet you all those kids watching the Marvel and wanting to grow up to be a superhero are also eating unhealthy foods. They're going to grow up to drive cars, which is digging into our ground and to kill Mother Earth and take her, basically her lifeblood from the black and you make it white. Why do you think when tar is on water, you see the whole spectrum of colors? Because it's all in there. We just don't see it. I do. I see the whole spectrum of colors. I see from black to white. I don't just see Roy G. Biv. I see the whole spectrum. But I can't explain that to other people because no one else does it the way I do it. No one else sees what I see and no one else has what I have. And I can see things the way you see them because I'm allowed to. And I can see things the way they are because I am that. And I'm only letting them be the way they are around me because I'm trying to let willpower be as clean and clear as possible so that people can get through their soul journeys. But right now, their soul journeys could be answered if they listen to somebody who's really here to help them. It just, to other people who say, well, some people don't want that kind of help. Some people don't want, I'm like, that's why we're all here. We're all here to understand what compassion, love, every emotion is about. We're not here to stick on one our whole lives and get stuck there as a human being because that's what people do. And if you realize that you're not a human being, you keep continuing in one lifetime to help dispel the karma of not just yourself, but other people around you, other lost souls that joined along with you, because everyone you meet was another lost soul. Even somebody that you may have not noticed your whole life, and now you see them opening up because their soul is now starting to become through, where this is the point of life where they were going to get to the point where it started. Some people didn't have a point in their life where they were going to start. They wanted to go through life, and they had to go through enough things to sort of trigger that emotion that brings that out. Some people don't even find it in their life. And that's the kind of people that go around, I'm searching for my meaning. I'm searching for meaning. Well, your meaning will come to you as soon as you open your heart and listen. Everybody. There's not one person who I can't help because I can look at their name and tell them exactly what they were supposed to do, what they wanted to do, what their soul contract was. But I don't want to be that guy because that turns me into a spectacle. And that kind of spectacle is for, like, those things are for people to find on their own. So I don't want to translate other people's pasts and futures for them and tell them where they're going to be going or what they're going to have next, because they can program that now. It's a freedom of choice thing. It's not just free will. It's also free knowledge. Free will to use that knowledge. We've never had that before. There was no knowledge. It was always blocked by other people. That's why K plus H, or C plus H is K. 3 plus 8 is 11. Okay? Now, between two ones is a subject that is. Between every two straight lines is a subject of some sort. And in letters, when we write a K, it's a kinetic thing that is there, but we don't see it because it's expressing vitally in front of us or from the person it's coming from, like a kick or something like that. So, like, when you get into words like kinetic and think, there's terminologies for them. I even say that everyone that's heard me talk about any of this stuff for the last few years, I talk about tenses. Every word has a tense. Like, there are more than one tense to a word. Like, I could get into a whole bunch of them, but the last one cut off. But I wanted to keep going. What I said is there's a whole bunch of words I could break down, like you say Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen. Mary is like Mary, water. Kate is kinetic. Ashley, ash. And then Ley, life energy yonder. Ash and air. Okay? So we've got Mary Kate and Ashley. And then we have all kinds of cool things where their last name is Olsen. Ongoing life. S-E-N. Not S-A-N-G like sang. It would be Olsen. S-E-N. And S-I-N would be a sin, like a singer. One of us individually, we're sinners. And if you say S-O-N, they're ongoing like everybody else. So if their name is S-O-N or S-E-N, one is just expressing, one is ongoing. You know what I mean? It's that same thing. Always. It'll never be anything but that. Kirk Cameron, Candace Cameron, James Carey, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. You know, all of them have their names say what they're doing. He's doing the job, son. But, you know, you don't put it in there. If you just took the N, I'm not even going to try to break it down for people. What really bothers me is that I see this in everyone and everything and no one else does. And when they listen to it, it makes a little bit of sense and they go, oh, that's cool, but I never noticed that and that's weird. I'm like, it applies to you. It applies to your name. It applies to your life. It applies to everything you're ever doing. And it'll tell you if you were supposed to act like you were supposed to do something negative this time. Because even if you realize that, oh, I was supposed to be some intergalactic space challenger, you were supposed to wake up and see that that was just a gag. Just an act for you to do. None of it is ever going to be real. But at the same time, it's the only real thing that human beings are lucky enough to experience. No one else is lucky enough to experience this the way we do. They're all lucky enough to experience life. And all plants, animals, bugs, germs, they enjoy their life because they enjoy it. Who wouldn't want to exist? Be like, hey, if I can exist as anything, I'll take that. If you're like, hey, we're going to shut you off completely. Or you can be this and work your way back up. I'm putting it into simple terms. But imagine that that's how it was. If you had the chance to be nothing or be something, you would choose something. You say right now, as a human being, you would choose nothing. But when you see what kind of beauty there is in the world that you can be, that you are, you will always choose something. We always choose something. Even the masters who say that they don't want to repeat the cycle of birth and death, you cannot repeat the cycle of birth and death, but you'll always choose living as something because you won't die. Anyway, that's all I want to do to finish that little talk up. I love you guys. Peace. I know how crazy this stuff sounds, but this is life. And I'd rather have people come see me in person and talk to me about stuff instead of try to analyze it while they're watching stupid shows that are about sex, drugs, and hatred. I mean, this isn't what we're going to be doing for a long time. And the people that continue to do that are slowly going to die. I'm trying to save them from that. They are slowly dying right now. And it's not even as slowly as it used to be. It's happening a lot faster because they themselves are bringing it on themselves. And nature is acting as itself now. It won't harm the people that don't harm it. But don't mess with it. Let it do what it does. If you leave the area that's going to flood and you make it out, wise up and start living right. You got another chance. If you don't make it, there's a reason. So take it how you want to. This is just love and truth. Like, God shows no remorse when it comes to the point that you're living on a body that you're a guest on. And that body is now getting rid of its pests. And there are a lot of pests living on Earth right now called human beings who are wasting their time doing the wrong shit on purpose. And it's time for that to change or they'll go. Mother Nature itself is doing it. I saw the plan, and I can't tell anyone because they don't listen anyway, and all it would do is scare them. So all they got to do is open their hearts and listen to the truth, and it's right there for them anyway.